Stop overthinking. That's what people kept telling her, as if it were something you could just decide. But what they didn't understand was this. She wasn't trying to think so much. She just couldn't stop. And somewhere along the way, her thoughts stopped helping her live her life and quietly started replacing it. She wasn't always like this. At least, not in a way she could recognize. Her mind had always been active, careful, observant, the kind of person who noticed details, who thought things through. At first, it felt like an advantage, until slowly, it became something else. It showed up in small ways, replaying conversations, rethinking decisions, imagining outcomes that hadn't happened, then doing it again and again, until one thought quietly turned into constant overthinking. Not loud, not dramatic, just always there. And the more she tried to control it, the more it seemed to grow. It followed her everywhere. During the day, it hid behind productivity. At night, it became something harder to ignore. Overthinking at night was where it felt the clearest. When everything slowed down, her mind didn't. It got louder. At some point, she started to believe something about herself, that she was just an overthinker, that this was how her mind worked, that this was who she was. But there was something about that label that made it harder to question. Because if it's who you are, why would it ever stop? People would say things like, "You need to stop overthinking, you're thinking too much," and it sounded simple. But she had a question no one seemed to answer. How do you stop something that feels like it's thinking for you? That's when she started searching, not for answers about her life, but for answers about her mind. How to stop overthinking, how to overcome overthinking, how to prevent overthinking. And the more she searched, the more she noticed something strange. None of the answers really worked. Not for long, because they all assumed the same thing, that overthinking was the problem. But what if overthinking wasn't the problem at all? Because when she looked closer, her mind wasn't trying to confuse her. It was trying to protect her from uncertainty, from mistakes, from getting things wrong. But in doing that, it had started doing something else. It had stopped her from living. And the more it tried to protect her, the smaller her life became. That's when she realized she didn't need to fight her thoughts. She needed to stop treating every thought like it required an answer. Because not every thought is a problem, and not every question needs to be solved. For the first time, she didn't try to fix it. She didn't try to control it. She just noticed it and let it pass. Because the goal was never to stop overthinking completely. It was to stop believing that every thought deserved your attention. Most people don't get stuck because they think too much. They get stuck because they listen too closely. And over time, that voice in your head starts to feel more real than your actual life. So the question is not, how do I stop overthinking? It's, what happens if I stop obeying every thought I have? Because once you see that clearly, your mind doesn't have to be quiet for your life to finally move forward.